Yo, we got the yeah, he got them you know for sure. Just look at the crystal ball, which is nothing more but a disco ball. Just to remind everybody that you a crystal, y'all. Follow me through the valley of the death and the mist and fog, and you'll see that he didn't become a prince when she kissed the frog. Don't be lifting off, I am just me, you know. Nigga, just keep doing you, and I'ma do me. DoelowDaPilotman fly as the highs can be, you know. I'ma tell you now, ain't no one higher than me. I am a G, depending on geometrics. Brother with the RJ or Uriel, that's gonna be in your death with. It's only your being you left with. Now you're a nobody, cause you ain't got nobody to be in. From the AM, now you born again, now you got caught in the PM. Hey, you been lost in a cycle, going round and round with the seasons. This big crystal ball that we all on, nigga, we prior to reason. God was leaving a trail for you to follow. This basically saying that I was here. Just look into the crystal ball and let your imagination fly in there. Damn. If something's not right, get up the Pilotman. It's the top flight, it's the top flight. Coming out just to get up high. Yo, we got the yeah, he got them you know for sure. Just look at the crystal ball. I don't really think they get the lingo. DoelowDaPilotman, you can call me Mr. Cleo. Archangel Uriel, don't sing no carols. Don't give a fuck about moving shit like no sparrows. I play the cards that was dealt, ain't talking no tarot. Spirits come through that shit and drain your bone marrow. That's divination, not innovation. That's an invitation for a shitty demon that's acting like it's a Satan to possess you and strip you naked. Turn a little defenses and spirits that can actually get with them. This is play by play, man. No secret water like Space Jam. If you dead weight, then I'ma have to cut you off like K-Cap. I'm all fired, but goddamn, can somebody tell me why I stay there? I be in my feelings, but that's where the magic at. I'm the Pilotman in the promised land, that's my habitat. Yeah. To crystallize all the stone structures. Who you gon' call it? It ain't the Ghostbusters. If something's not right, get up the Pilotman. It's the top flight, it's the top flight. Coming out just to get up high. Yo, we got the yeah, he got them you know for sure. Just look at the crystal ball.
The hi-hat, you know what I'm saying? Add a church bell to it or something like that. Would have been complete. Would have been complete. Now, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is a free-for-all live stream, whatever, just in case you want to make an example through the technology and whatever the case may be. And a note, I ain't did nothing wrong anyway. I'm the only one getting harassed. Other than that, this is about spiritual backing. So, for the most part, I like to make things real clear. A lot of individuals want to say the spiritual world or whatever the case may be pseudo, and they don't like the, you know, they may not even know who I am. But if they do, still have a hard time detaching all the Esperant concepts that your mind developed, Esperant for your mind to be developed, and still don't understand what's doing it, the interpreter or the observer. And then for the most part, you start to not understand that these are forms that we're calling spaceships that you can actually travel. And then if you don't look at it like it's traveling, however the case, you know, this is what's formatting as structuring our mind to present it in reality. And whatever that you're constructing to present in reality, whether you just move your elbow, is something that you brought from the same esoteric travel. So understanding these things is like locations. And every word in the encyclopedia, to make it simple, because you don't want to understand your spirit, is just your space, because you're lost into all the qualities that spirit is pointing to when people describe it, which it ain't nothing else but the mind. When people try to describe it, then they try to separate. Well, maybe that's not the spirit. Still get lost in what your spirit, the observer, does separate. Then you still separate from the mind anyway, and still get another lostness in it. You just call it the soul. Then you get lost into your own individual aspect from your spirit, being the individual space, a soul, and think that your soul is the mind, based upon you separating it from what's observing. But yeah, you know, you have mind states that you ain't got no more that you may have developed 5 to 6 to 7 years ago. So, you know what? Did you get rid of your spirit? Then you might get into another loopity-loop energy. It got something to do with the flesh. Now spirit is water or tree bark. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So when you have a kid or when you plant a tree, did you lose some of your spirit? Then, you know, you're going to have to come up with a fourth dimensional aspect. And then, you know, hopefully Siri tell you. Chat DBS tell you. Then when they get retarded and stuff like that, welcome back to Turtles. Turtle Island, we're going to win the race. Oh, yeah, we're going to win the race. So. It's lighting up an incense oil candlestick. Incense oil candlestick. I bought from a Hebrew Israelite. I was just helping homie get out, stay out of jail and stuff like that. I was supporting homie to stay out of jail and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But then when you understand the spirit and stuff like that, right? This puts you in the aspect of knowing that before you even construct the intent, you're already in that spiritual space. You just be needing a physical crutch externally. You know, maybe words, maybe meanings, maybe things that you're doing externally based off your bias or things you're doing based upon survival, jobs you got, you know, in order to find the best example to represent or explain to someone, you know, your mannerisms. And a lot of times when you're in duplicate life forms anyway, as far as living a lie and stuff, it's like a fake smile. So, you know, you only fighting logic with logic, not against logic. You don't want to just express, I'm putting on a fake smile. So when someone don't see you smiling at work, they ain't got the second question because you already gave your heart on your sleeve, but you transmuted your ego into a healthy version of it, a phoenix, because you mixed it with your emotional intelligence. Therefore, your vulnerability ain't something that seemed to be shame. So you live a whole life and trying to cover it up in things that you can't sustain. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, if somebody want to know how you do it, how you sustain yourself, how you got so much patience, you get ready just to describe how well you was able to lie. I mean, it just might sound like you was just putting on a fake smile. That's what you're describing. Yeah, for me to be like this at work every day, because, you know, I had to do this and I sat and prayed. You know what I'm saying? I made sure on that sunny day or when it rained, God was with me to make sure my life had changed. Even though I still ain't seen nobody walk on water yet. Still ain't seen nothing I voted for. My grandma voted for, came to be here. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you got the courage to go to work the next day and don't go upside nobody's head, including the manager. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's still a duplicate. Yeah, it might help somebody as a crutch, but it ain't going to help somebody every day. And then if you make a church out of that, of course you're going to be like, don't ask, no questions. Just put it in the collection, or whatever the case may be, because they're going to need an updated version to help them, you know, the next week, the next month, the next year. You know what I'm saying? All the way to the point that they may not have a job anymore, but they still need them same qualities. So you're supposed to know those are implosions in some way or just minor esoteric cover-up systems that ain't the esoteric cures and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That's why ain't nothing wrong with religion and stuff like that. But when you misplace it, then it becomes an ego or a false sense of yourself. It's something that's blocking your vulnerability, where your vulnerability can be transmuted as your emotional intelligence with your divine masculine, your ego. And then therefore your ego can become your mishaps. You could try to make something perfect out of your imperfects. You know what I'm saying? People can have grace and justifications for what you actually doing, even if it's not up to par of whatever solidify, whatever that you're participating with. So you want to make sure you maintain that situation. Therefore, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve in the right attribute. And you'll never be able to be in a situation that the outcome's always dry heart. This individual got a dry heart, you got to learn how to deal with them. This person got a dry heart, got to learn how to deal with that. Eventually, you got a dry heart too, because you got to act out the same mannerisms. Now, you spiritually getting your own ass kicked. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like that. But to survive in that particular circumstance, I got to do this in order to protect myself. And you become just like something, just being on another side of it, being in another corner at the party, being on another side at hell saying, I see demons and stuff like that. Can't wait to get off and take that drink or whatever to be like, man, I seen demons and I'm dealing with demons or whatever. But, you know, you got your own demons for you to be in that type of surrounding. And I'm just using the job as an example, but I'm just helping individuals know an easy way to kind of see where your spirit at, due to the fact of what words you constructing in your mind to represent that spiritual space you in. You might not have seen it that simple, because it's really that simple. You're just reading the room. You're looking at the walls. You're looking at the ceiling, looking at the floor, right? In a 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, these is whatever you in, no matter what language. But whatever that you're constructing in order to understand what's ahead of you, that's what's going on. And the first layer of protection is what you're building around your spirit, which is the esprit. You You know what I'm saying? And if you lack forms of intelligence, that's what's perishing. You know what I'm saying? So you end up being more vulnerable in situations. You end up having to develop more false senses of ego around it. So your divine masculine, your ego is unhealthy and it's draining externally, not draining from itself, because the vulnerability is so unfruitful, it's unbearable if it was to be brought to the surface. So you lock it next to Abaddon, then you put yourself into a situation to protect anyone else from seeing it. And if anyone poke a hole in it, you go extreme, like you got some coping mechanism based upon you trying to hide something, even if you don't know that's what you self-projecting. And a lot of times, spirits put them put themselves in these type of complacent situations by default, due to the fact of you could be too blinded by a goal at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Then when something hits you from the blind side or backside that you got to deal with before you go fully with the goal, you may be so invested in the goal and developing the intelligence and the comfortability in that goal, you miss the intelligence behind you. You miss the intelligence beside you. Then someone could rock you to sleep. You see what I'm saying? So these are just understanding. Don't let things persuade you, because it could be a thing and a collection of words that you put together to describe your experience, to have you lost spiritually, only focusing on that all day. And your whole day passed on some retarded stuff. Then there was a lot of things you could have been doing that you didn't. And you get a lot of gold out of a lot of thoughts and feelings that's being compressed. When you're not light, the only reason you're in a lot of, you spiritually swim into a lot of waves, a collection of thoughts and feelings of adding it with yours and others, right, is going to become heavy of a compression itself. In a 1, 2, or 3rd dimension, ain't no right or wrong in a 4th or 6th dimension, just in that mind state. But in a physical, it may play out as something frustrating, something you have to get through. These are things that we start to use the English terms towards in other languages, right, that we're considering negative or bad, or however the case may be. But at the same time, this is just you going through something, and it's just, man, I had another point. That wasn't the point, though. But this is the point, that you're just going through something, and it's a collection, and whatever the collection is, it's the condensity, and you think that's what something negative is, but it's something that you're producing based upon just adding a whole bunch of thoughts and feelings. Hold on. No, before that. In a 1, 2, or 3rd dimension, ain't no right or wrong in a 4th. When you're not light, the only reason you're in a lot of... Okay, yeah, that was my point. So you're in a dungeon's lair. What do that mean? So when you're not light, you collect a whole bunch of thoughts and feelings. By default, it's compression. In a 1, 2, or 3rd dimension, it play out as frustration. These are things we're calling negative. But if you just see it as it ain't no right or wrong, in a 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, it's most fruitful with thoughts and feelings that's growing. This is where you could pull things out and have the most multitudes of angles and directions that other people will be able to see who ain't even going through the same situation as you, if you know how to anchor that towards a creative attribute. If you got enough charismatic gifts to be able to harness that and focus that, a very depressing state could turn into the most broadest creative goddamn thing ever, to make other motherfuckers that's caught in something expand out of whatever cocoon that they in. Some similar thing that they doing over and over again, or some form of insanity. You know what I'm saying? Doing the same thing, thinking they're going to get different results. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, when you're in that compression, right, it play out into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension as what's considered negative, due to the fact of a lot of other individuals. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of people that we quote unquote that's in position of power, or however the case, right? So it's things that they did on their bias that might be wrong or right, and a large percentage scale of what's wrong, maybe things that you read to protect yourself from going through. That's the very nature of developing a healthy, sharp sword and a sufficient shield for whatever that you're enduring in your life, just from the mental perspective. So anything that you go through in the 3rd dimension don't affect your actions so much, or your mental internal energies, to the point that anytime you're interacting in the external world, it's based off second pretense. What you think others may be thinking, what you think the environment and vibe may call for you, and you ain't trying to add something to that table. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the holy table right there. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about knowing what space you in and what you're putting together. And you have to be the engineer. A lot of y'all don't be the engineers. You be just trying to mix up the mixing board. And sometimes the mixing board don't mix for you. But you got to know the plugins and stuff. You got to know, sometimes you got to update the engineer board, add some other things, add some MPCs and 30s and all, whatever the case may be of these names, some new amps, right? Add some new knobs, update it. You know what I'm saying? Get a new antenna so it can have XM, right? So therefore that is more sufficient. But a lot of times when you ain't in that position, you know, you might be on an old outdated mixing board trying to equalize things, and it can't reach that quality that we be wanting now, Such as if you want to look at things like waves, something become outdated and watered down, then there's a new trend, there's a new wave, there's a new flight. But then for the most part, you trying to upbring something else that may not necessarily be sufficient for that new flight. So you don't know how to update it. You don't know how to just look at it like, okay, we're creating trends, so let me do my natural quality just in this way. You trying to do something that you took your natural quality and did something already and trying to produce it in a whole new shit. And then therefore you got an old mixing board and you trying to equalize some new sounds, and ain't nobody getting jiggy with that shit right now. You know what I'm saying? So when you have better ways to look at things, this puts you in a better perspective. And this puts you in the quality of understanding that, all right, this is my control first. This ain't necessarily something that we all be thinking and we all be in a position of. And as a collective, there could be a small group or a large group or whatever. No, that's not the thing. This is something everybody has to do for themselves. And we could come up with things all the time, but we have to make sure it's relatable and in sync, because relatable and in sync energy goes beyond whatever y'all be trying to be relatable and in sync to with your biases and stuff like that. For example, your holy anatomy, holy, the meaning and reasons to things, lack of better term and words, astrology, and then holy, for lack of better terms, the timing of things that these meanings and get derived from when that seed is planted and before it get the shifts out like the moon, astronomy. Right? For lack of better terms or words. So, you like a lot of, you always in sync of these things. You can look at anatomy, 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, holy, astrology, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, how we're reacting to what we're creating externally, and then our position of that, astronomy, holy, or whatever, right? So then you might be in a aspect, I didn't point, so you got to know when you are looking at these things from a holy aspect, being in sync and being relatable. Yeah, that's my point. Being in sync and being relatable goes beyond which is in sync and relatable to you. You know that in order for your body to function right, your heart got to be in sync with something else. And then your kidneys got to relate to something else. And your lung got to relate to your brain and things of that. So if you plan out a lifestyle spiritually of something in your own life, own holy, of being relatable in sync. If it don't match the holy relatable of being in sync, it's going to be unrelatable to something outside of you in some way, shape, or form. And if you don't understand how to see that outside of you and inside of you, you may even make up how this is agreeable even when it's not agreeable, right? But you're going to make up in your mind how it's larger on a percentage scale, which is organ implosion going in your own mind, of how it is relatable just because it's mine, I want it, or whatever the case may be. But in all reality, it can't be that large in a percentage scale, because we can see more things larger in a percentage scale that matters beyond your subjectivity. If my body have to be in relatable and sync, and for me to be attracted to a female and for her to be attracted to me, we have to be relatable and sync and a mind or someone. For me to start a business with a group of guys, we got to have a common interest, some type of relatable and sync. Then whatever your subjectivity is talking about for your little, it's mine, you go to hell. You know what I'm saying? In some way, I'm seeing something you can't see that a lot of other people be able to see. And until you be able to see it, maybe your own relationships will become better in your own family and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure whatever path you on, those one of the things you missing also. It's probably going to be a lot of other shit you miss. You know what I'm saying? So where a person play out one area, it plays out like that in multitudes of other areas and stuff like that. If a person don't know how to check it. And so they don't know when they might be self-projecting a spiritual mental illness, aka a spirit don't know how to construct a mentality in the right sufficient manner before being expressed. So you're not a carver, you're not a cultivator, you're not a creator, or whatever the case may be. So if you're just trying to create based upon things that's already here, you are already in an esoteric concept of Madam Publicity Titty or small dick energy. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, when you know how to make these worlds or update a form that's already there, you always present a new fruit. But you can't hide the fact it's always going to be larger on a percentage scale of relatability and synchronizing. That's the highest water. So for the most part, that's going to be the highest fruit. This what makes an enemy admire someone and then actually hate their other enemy or whatever the case may be. So they'll find themselves loving to hate the individual that got the natural water, just actually hating the other individual, and may even copy certain traits from the one that they claim they hate to do the actual hate to another individual, things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not about the hate with their own bias. One spirit still went to a space to develop some natural charismatic gift that's in relatability and synchronizing energy. So ultimately, the hater will want to be in that position regardless of anything in front of them that they're using as a bias or focus point at the moment. The person they hating, the things they do in their regular life or whatever, it's going to be things that they start to see that they don't know that they actually is imitating by covering up with the hatred energy, that is things that they know that that quality leads to, that they would like to have a representation of that in their life or whatever. And the more that they don't have it or don't know how to go about it, or no, if this person is lit in their area or whatever the case, they don't want to appear to copy, then it's going to put them in more of a hater energy. You know what I'm saying? Because they hate to be themselves and they hate that they not something that they really would like. So they will try to bring it down its level, take the energy, make that disappear so it could be the only one with it, and don't know how to even plant the seed. And a lot of females go through that in high school and in college, with other females, and men go through this in business a lot, or just if you play sports and stuff. But if you're just a nerd, you learn these things from people, and then you probably go to college too and get in a manager position and stuff like that. But then don't wonder why all your employees don't be liking you and stuff. Then you got to say you learned from a master college, you know what I'm saying? But all that fake stuff over here. But other than that, yeah. But you just got to peep game when it comes into the mind physics and what you're paying attention to. And it goes beyond externally. Your focal point of the meaning and reasoning and intent of why you're focusing on the thing externally in the first place has a nuance to it. And that's all the brain neuron. And that's what's building your emotional arousement or your excitement. And your highest emotional excitement is really, if you want to quote unquote say, your God, because your mind is a fruit and you only like to pluck from a fruit that, and if you can't create it yourself, it's something you spiritually always have to go to and even frustrate yourself to get there even more times when you have to use it for the external world. So if that internal mind state that you use make you get over someone or something in the external world, that how you got it has to be tainted and hidden and not taught in the first place, that's just lying and manipulation. Everybody does it. Well, I don't, but you know what I'm saying, how people in all walks of life. Then for the most part, that's purely worshiping whatever spirit was in that mind state first, even if they walked the earth or didn't in a physical form, right? Which all spirits have. We all share the same space, just in less dense, heavier dense forms, right? And a lot of us spirits is the same. We all the same spirits. So a lot of times you may not know, you may be doing something that you've been doing for a while and you just don't want to have no grace. You keep trying to cover it up like it's not that. But anytime you use that just for internal, your actions play out as the external world become the internal world. Anytime you take the internal world to try to manipulate the external world, that's your own lie. So you're going to a shaleote, you know what I'm saying, ole sheohi, and then for the most part, that puts you into a aspect of a garden that you didn't plant first, but some other spirit have obtained some things that kind of got the same percentage scale of the things you want to obtain, if not the same things. And you may have to do it, you may do it in a lesser degree, but you may try to become the main farmer there in the spiritual world. So you may try to outdo that original thought. But you truly didn't get that thought to it. Was old MacDonald had a farm at 18 years old, and you read a book or whatever and collected in your mind. Truly wasn't a own volition investment of your own, be a natural owner of land. Because it would have never play out as degenerate anyway. It will be on a mere premise of helping out your surroundings and the people because you had a better idea how to cultivate they may not have. So at that starting point, it's always going to be more relatable in the scene. Anytime it started in the manipulating aspect, there's things that's already there, others have already placed there, whether spiritually as it is in heaven or physically as it is on earth, and people was just in an area or a habitat before the other to be in that jackrabbit concept of how can I get it after it's already there. You see what I'm saying? So the remorse or all the other nuances that come with it, like the care for it and all that, may not necessarily be there. The care may be displaced more towards the bias or the subjective nature, and it's just a large percentage scale of somebody else's belongings being a part of that. You know what I'm saying? If it's already the individual not there, or the animal not there, or the bug or the parasite not there, right? So this when it gets tricky, when you have to understand what position you is spiritually on your day-to-day interactions, even when it comes to give and take from mental gold. When you're connected with individuals spiritually, we're making emanations around our spirit to observe ourselves. That's the mind state. Then when it connect, that it can be harmful or harmonious. If it's harmful, both water forms of mental bodies was going in different directions, but was in the same space. So same space mean same goal, just different outcomes or wanting different things from it. So that developed competition, competing for that space, right? But if it's a common goal, sharing the same space, but y'all going to the same direction also, then that's harmonious energy. In the same place where the water goes the same direction. Harmful energy, being in the same place, but water going all in a different direction. You trying to share space with others, and all y'all got different type of ideas about shit, and it ain't even got nothing to do with a common goal. So y'all really had no business being in the same space anyway. So when things ain't a common goal, but you sharing a space with someone, it's only due to the fact of survival, or it's only due to the fact of a bias, or you just ain't find yourself yet. So when you look at these things in a non-spiritual way in the physical world, a lot of y'all enemies, a lot of y'all friends y'all developed that y'all don't have anymore, was purely substantiated on places like this. Sharing space at a job. All y'all ain't getting there to have a check, like y'all know each other outside the job, and all y'all got the job on purpose so y'all all could take the check and do something different with all y'all money together. All y'all come from different walks of life, got to that school, got to that job. So what y'all getting ready to do with that shared space ain't a common goal. You know what I'm saying? But yet sharing that same space may develop common goal traits amongst people, because everybody trying to find that relatable and synchronize energy, no matter how we try to get it and drink. And then when you do that in miscellaneous out-of-pocket spaces, out of the spaces that your pocket suns and moons be in and things of that nature, then for the most part, here's where you get chaos. Here's where you get, I made a mistake, and things of that nature. Here's where you get making people you thought was your friend that wasn't your friend. And then trying to make that shit sound cool. Oh no, I was there because we're business friends, or whatever the case may be. No, that's a person that you sleeping with the enemy. As soon as you turn your back, they got your whole McDonald's. Had a farm. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it from that aspect. And then, for the most part, in the spiritual lens, these things be already taking place. You might be too late once you actually start to experience the matter, what mattered to you, condensing into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. Actual matter. As a form of a person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation. And now you're already dealing with something you added to a large percentage scale of your energy, mentality, mind, awareness, along with other spirits that y'all shared the same space with, even when y'all was all at the crib and y'all ain't at work that day, or whatever, school that day, sport training day, or whatever what they call that. You know what I'm saying? So we what they call that? You going to I forget what they even call that shit. But at the same time, that lets you know how you're wrapped up in a whirlwind. And if you want to call it a world, it's like a whirl. You know what I'm saying? Just with all of our minds being and sharing space as spirits, and all of our minds that we're developing going in different directions. So it's like a swirl that ain't really stable, or a natural swirl. So we create hurricanes, toxic tornadoes amongst each other, aka debate, complication, competing, non-understanding, the way that we created as a fault in the first place, that we're given all this crutch to understand, is already on the basis of non-understanding. Forms of languages, and especially English and stuff like that. So to understand, you have to use something that wasn't meant to understand something. We're never going to understand. We're going to have 2,000-year-old arguments and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then there's certain people that use this to steer away from understanding, not knowing if this is your mentality, you're the one not understanding. You just have to understand in reality, you're doing that trait causing non-understanding because it may have something to do with you getting money behind it or you in a position. And then you may over-exaggerate that money in that position as upholding your ancestors or doing an oath or, you know what I'm saying, just a bunch of mental nonsense that, animals ain't even about to evolve in or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? These are survival tactics that ant lion don't even be in. You know what I'm saying? But since you're a human, you are lying to yourself with that mental over exaggeration. But in the physical, it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? And when we all understand the truth, we all can get out of our pockets and get back in pocket, corner pocket, anytime we out of pocket. Because it's all about, you understand pockets like it's a sun pocket, right? So it's emanating certain things all the way down the seasons. And when it ain't in that pocket, it ain't going to do them same traits. When you ain't in pocket, you ain't in your vibe, you ain't in your groove, you ain't in your space to develop those high qualities of creativity wherever you be steering it towards, whether it's anything, business, entertainment, education, religion, or politics, orator, however the case may be. You see what I'm saying? You ain't in the right space. Your spirit ain't in that area you naturally supposed to be. So you done got all over the place following other spirits. So it's almost like you in the physical walking with your head behind your back, but you still going forward, thinking that you're going into the unknown. No, you're supposed to know better. It ain't you going in the unknown. You're running away from the no. We all know. You know you're doing wrong, and you want to act like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, what'll happen if I don't know based upon what I know I'm doing? Basically. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know. There's no such thing as not knowing unless it's something coming from another mind that needs to help you understand it. Other than that, everybody know how to eat, fucking sleep. Then nobody had to get trained how to suck from their mother nipple. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know how to shit and piss. Everybody know how to blink. Everybody know how to breathe. So you should know where all these things come from in higher levels. There is no such thing as not knowing. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. The only thing you could not know is on a small percentage scale. What's coming from someone else's mind. But then that has layers to it. Because it's only so much they could be thinking if it ain't their own mind over exaggeration. I mean, what pretty much is it? They only could tell you their specific way of how to eat, fuck, or sleep. They can only tell you their specific way of how to blink. It ain't nothing a human can tell you. That's all made up. And that's what you're supposed to teach. That's what I be trying to teach y'all. It's about you. And then when you know that, you know there's things that work for you that don't work for others. Therefore, that stop you from making heavy mistakes. And if fourth graders knew this, fifth graders knew this, sixth graders knew this, man, nobody will be mad because they ain't got no damn Jordans and can't think right in school. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got no Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So you can learn what's produced from someone else's mind, and they can help you understand it. But then you have to look at it like, is it relatable or is it in sync? Is it in sync? And then that goes through layer beyond history, because in history, now you got to question, is that your people or not? But other than that, we're trying to get to a better state now. But these are things, it's like, without it being candy, there's candy. Without it being a word, it's a word. Without it being a vision, there's a vision. So, some spiritual wise of, even if your ancestors, if you ain't got no wise people around you physically, supposed to tell you, don't take candy from a stranger. That's spiritually speaking and things of that nature. Now, it don't matter what the spirit is and stuff. You just can't follow a mind state, because you'll put yourself in that same scenario and it don't work for you as well. Now you're more hurt than that individual. You know what I'm saying? Now you're comparing and contrasting. Did you do something wrong? No, it wasn't you. You wasn't doing you. When you do you, that works. It never fails. Know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is do you. That never fails. If you come across a failure, it's the same concept. Someone else made it up, and it might have worked for them, and you added too much of the percentage scale of it working for you, which is why you got so many red pills casting stones at females at the moment, for only reasons of they fucking other men that the red pills should be mad at. Then they start to realize they ain't even got no reason to be mad. they running the wrong type of game. Whether they lack culture or wrong idea, or they really just want to secretly be a pimp and just pay for it without the problems with it. You know what I'm saying? But you have some real good, clear understanding when you are spiritually inclined, you know? And if there was a lot more spiritually inclined people in government and stuff like that, trust me, the way online is conducted will be very different too. You know what I'm saying? So we know that's not the thing. And that's not for us to fight or be a part of and try to change and implode from the inside out. It's for you to spiritually separate and build the sufficient mental landscaping that it's so pure and genuine in the physical world, no one has no choice but to copy. Everything else weather away because everything that's substantiated already come from that space. So you just got to make sure you with God and be out the esoteric farming land, know how to landscape real good. You bring new worlds down here, right? And that can only be the thing that's producing and creating life and making life go around. Money don't make the world go around. Charismatic gifts make the world go around. There would be nothing to buy without no charismatic gifts. Exactly. I mean, you can't even make the light bulb. Whoever made the light bulb, charismatic gifts. Even though we did that back in the day with solar products, but still, the electric way to get money off of it, charismatic gift. All right, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't about just think power worship. What you do with it too, though, it's inevitable. They have to be put the two and two together. But the highest quality of it is orator. Because even if you do got a constructed cold ass labor quality or technological quality and electric quality, right? You still gonna be somewhere in front of people, opening up your mouth because you're the best representative to speak for it. So don't ever get past that fact. Talking is the highest form. This is what animals trying to reach. And you hear birds chirping, you know, groundhog, all kinds. This is the higher crickets. So you need to understand that. But don't put it in your bias as if you start comparing and contrasting with your ego, and here you go considering, well, this person was born deaf, because this is like the way atheists think. This person was born deaf. So does this mean if I believed in that type of God, that God must have had something to do with making this person not be able to speak? So, you're just going down the wrong lens and stuff like that. Everybody's life is different, and whatever that person did, internally, they could develop the moral ground basis more than you. And who's to say they're not seeing a lot of things you're not seeing just because they're inhibited from speaking and things. So that might open up a whole lot of other things that you better be glad they can't speak, because you speak and try to make sense out of that. They probably be the first person once they get their voice back to say you retarded and have all the words to put it together that you will never be able to be retarded again. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You're going to feel bad every time you try to kick that bullshit, even when you're around other people. So you don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like Stevie Wonder. You don't know what they actually see and what they actually hear and things of that nature. Because here's the thing. Y'all could get lost into y'all visions external all y'all want. Don't ever forget, wherever Stevie Wonder at from being blind, wherever a deaf person at not being able to speak, you still there 24/7 too. It's the same thing. You there 24/7 too. You know what I'm saying? You might think, oh, well, a person can't visualize McDonald's or whatever the case may be. Trust me, you can't visualize a restaurant in China that's not called McDonald's, that you never seen before. All right, what's the difference? You just happy-go-lucky because you seen McDonald's. And here's the thing. If a blind person probably could see you, they'd be the first person to say as soon as they get their sight back, lose some motherfucking... Oh, sad. Get rid of that Bible stand and get you a diet plan. Oh, sad, real quick. I'm telling you, God is good. God is good. Y'all don't appreciate that. Natural qualities. But when you sit there, you ponder, you know how you're making up your imagination, which is your dream too. When you go to sleep and get disembodied from your physical, nobody. And then you go to your first body. Thank God you got that one. And you're there emanating. But if you don't know that's what you're constructing, this is why y'all dreams be out of whack. And then y'all be in a reverse psychology version of it that you implode yourself. Well, maybe I got a what they call that lucid dream. And I can control my dreams. That's retardation. You just half woke, half sleep. You just got more of your other organs that's in recharge mode. So you're more in the process of being more on a percentage scale of sleep. That ain't, you ain't doing nothing special or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what people be thinking and stuff like that. This is what bends in and just become your neurons and stuff like that, and your ability to move and stuff. It don't have nothing to do with what y'all be talking about. Oh, I need a lucid dream or whatever. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Controlling your dreams is controlling your thoughts and feelings. So you have those type of emanations. So when you get disembodied from your body, you can't act it out. You're acting it out inside of your mind, producing more. Let's say you have a dream about a beach. When you act out, you just add more experiences to the beach. Oh, I'm seeing the water move. Oh, I'm seeing a tree breeze. Oh, I'm seeing a sand particle footprints in it and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what you're doing. You're doing the same thing how you made your organs without your organ at the moment. Then once you do it so much, you charged up your organ. You getting ready to wake up. In your dream, it just looks like you getting ready to get rooted into something that you do physically when you awoke, whether it's something you see or not. It's a feeling and a thought. So it'd be like an experience, a heavy experience that if you went through, it could be like, let's say you about to get into a fight at school. In your dream, you might not about to be getting into a fight, but you starting to reach that type of feeling, right? That's you jumping back into the light ray that condensed as blood that went straight to the organ that just recharged, and you get to wake up and move it around and stuff like that, and tell people what your flunked out dream was about. Flunked out dream. Don't tell nobody about that dream. Don't tell nobody about that dream. Oh, Sarah, don't tell nobody about that dream. You don't want people thinking that you need a straitjacket when you ain't around now. Come on now. You know what I'm saying, real stuff? Come on now. Real stuff. But that's how you do it. So you have to be on a train of thought, line of reasoning. Because that is more of that pocket. You know, that pocket is part of the pocket family that ain't really with the physical. So you trying to say lucid dream, you're trying to do something in your dream, you doing a physical. And your dream is the substance that becomes physical. So you're thinking about it backwards. You see what I'm saying? Like people think about these things backwards. Lucid dreaming, you get ready to wake up, or you ain't fully asleep yet. You know what I'm saying? Not know, oh, there's some spiritual stuff somebody went to and brought what was in their own mind, their own hell on earth, and try to convince everybody else that it was that, and they made $1 million. So everybody else cared about $1 million that they made at the bookseller, best book-selling book at the library. So now people think that's an actual dream. No, you lying to yourself. Your dream is you want $1 million. You really don't give a fuck what was on homie's head. That was the author. You know what I'm saying? Like, real, that's really what it be. Like, I'm telling y'all humans don't know how deep y'all be lying to yourselves. But if you really compete game, you will see you ain't shit for real. A lot of y'all see y'all ain't shit for real. We all ain't, though. Some ain't deeper than others, though. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta think real stuff before you go. You thought that was the path it took to get that rocking to sleep $1 million or something like that. You ain't think about it like, oh, this is interesting. I want to see what he's seen and stuff like that. You start acting like you want to see what he's seen. You say, yeah, I got to get that book for $1,200. I want to, yeah, I've seen it all. Yeah, I can visualize it and stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Why ain't Billy Carson yet? Dun, 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 dun. Why ain't the Knowledge of Alexandria? Dun, 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 dun. Why ain't on nobody's stage yet? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, y'all, I used to be in mysticism and stuff like that. I used to be in Christianity, but I start to realize that, it's always the same. It's always the same. Yeah, y'all, I used to be a Christian, but shut up, dude. You just on DJ Flat right now. Be quiet. You just on VH1 right now. Be quiet, dude. Just late on the mortgage, dude. You know what I'm saying? Stop. What you fooling? These really God's children. Stop lying. But it get deep. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we lie for survival. We lie for shelter. We lie to not look stupid. You know what I'm saying? We lie to look like we somebody. You know what I'm saying? We lie to try to hide all those small dick energies and Madam Bissy titties. There's a lot of lie. You know what I'm saying? But what you gonna lie in? That your being be inside of. You know what I'm saying? You know, you being, I'm saying your belief. You know what I'm saying? You be lying. You know what I'm saying? Your being as a spirit be in forms that you created. You bask in, float in, you know what I'm saying? Dream World, DreamWorks, Walt Disneyland, Studio Universal and stuff like that. You don't never you think the whole world you want everybody to believe your bullshit. That's really what you mean. When everybody's swimming your land and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Going directions that ain't got nothing to do with them and stuff like that. It's all about you and stuff. I say how that works. But a lot of times it's the energies though. You just be swimming, you be floating, you don't never want it to end. You know what I'm saying? Having a good old time in y'all minds. Y'all having a good old time in y'all minds. And y'all can't think about it like that. See, when I put too much focus on it, you gotta try to do it now. You can't do it. Y'all do it 24/7 though, so y'all good at going to hell. You see what I'm saying? With God's children here, burn it out. We burn through reality. You burn it out. It's hard for you to do it. Like, you took something from me. You know what I'm saying? You can't figure it out. You took something. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for you to visualize. Yeah, I can think of a beach in my mind right now. No, you can't. You about to try to do it right now. Try to do it right now. You can't. Every time you try to think of a beach, you got the opposite thought, the opposite energy, the opposite atom. Y'all got to get back in y'all bias bags. Y'all got to get back in y'all lying bags. They got to have some $1 million behind it or some fucking be in a magic. Do you believe in magic? Fucking be the Simpsons in y'all mind. You know what I'm saying? See, that's how the spirit world. I'm trying to get y'all in the spirit world though. You know what I'm saying? That's the first second when it says you give off a thought and you didn't let it go. I took y'all to the simultaneous state though. So I'm trying to teach you spiritually, lack of better words, but also when you give off a thought and you don't let it go, you burn it out before it went anywhere. So you can't envision it even if you just envisioned it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a thing. We have to play trick with the mind though, because your senses a lot of you and y'all start making up stuff externally and be looked at as crazy. And then be trying to reach for goals, plant seeds, and then be lost in a synthetic way, false successes of it, and you're on a whole different pattern of life. Now you got false validation qualities and validation issues that swept up under the rug. We're going in this quality. I'm talking about can't nobody persuade you did something wrong, and they only out of pocket, and it can only be an example of them trying to be in search of finding more ways of being relatable and sync off of you. And it will only be justified. That's their way of doing it if it's a large percentage scale being negative towards you. And that's what God will teach you. That's what Yehovah will teach you. Yehovah. And then once you understand that and things, right, you won't bear the shame or bear the stone that was thrown at you, cultivated in the energy that ain't you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't me. That's your bullshit. You can't make me you. You know what I'm saying? That you can't self-project onto me. And that's when you built a spiritual reflector for any mirror. So it bounced off and return a sender. And then it get placed in the holder of the person like a hot rock, like how we used to do fire drills at the end of the bow and arrow, right? That they thought they was going to throw off. And somebody was dope, grabbed it real quick and threw the nate ball back at them. And now it's back in their own hands. I was like, hot. It's hot. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? Like you're giving somebody back their own bullshit. They threw it at you. They ain't know you had a way to throw it back at them. It's almost like if you real witty. So can't nobody even joke with you. You always got, it's like a natural. You got this a comeback so cold that a person never knew that was a comeback. So they just made up a good coal on Christmas time to throw at you. You grab that motherfucker, threw it right back real quick before it can even steam on your hands. You like, I'm good. It's back in their hands. They playing hot potato and stuff like, oh yeah, get that person back their shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you got to look at it. And you get more qualities if you look at it like that. If you're seeing it the way I'm seeing it, like this makes sense, transmute it back to your bias and leave from the actual way of seeing it, you lack qualities of knowing how to deal with this in other areas of your life and stuff, then you be throwing shit at people, and if they throw it back at you, you don't know what to deal with it. Yet, you ain't even a practitioner at throwing shit at people. You ain't got no business being in no position of David or Goliath. You're looking for no rocks that the gap broke down to be gravel. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no business even doing that and stuff like that. Stay out the way and stuff. You're going to get yourself hurt. You know what I'm saying? You're going to realize you ain't special real fast. You know what I'm saying? Now, you see how we can get so far into the spiritual world. We don't even have to specify specific situations, specific locations. Oh, it's gang violence in LA. Oh, it's drug violence in New York. Oh, it's weirdo violence in Atlanta. Like, we don't have to actually, this kind of presentation and teaching don't even need a chalkboard, yet anyone with a chalkboard, anyone in any area and any background and walk of life can feel me and present these qualities in their own substantiated circumstance to make their own outcomes better. Therefore, judgmental energy is not put in the physical rooted holy, it's put in a holy holy, giving someone else an aspect beyond you to know that there is a quality that you judge yourself that's open to be judged, that you need to be in a position at the moment to know how to judge for yourself. Even when we're having conversations, our energies we don't have to put on the table to judge each other on. So you have to bring your personal situation to the table. I had to bring my personal situation to the table. But our personal spiritual backing and how we expressing ourselves let us know we've been around a block or that spiritual circle a few motherfucking times. Block physical, spiritual circle a few times in the spiritual world. Now holy triangle come out of it. So we all got that, circumference in your own point of reference for the first time, my own point of reference for the first time, and become that star. All creators, all A's to bring things to this table and pass this esoteric grade, which is a school. In all actuality, because we learn it. You see what I'm saying? Well, y'all. So, just let you know that it's not about learning amongst others. We all learning, and it's supposed to be something that you're able to learn even when you're not amongst others. So that's that holy, holy classroom. Therefore, what you learn, bring to the table when we amongst each other. What I learned, I'm going to bring to the table. Here's the thing. If we spiritually in a pocket, we going to be in a pocket physically that others may not be in when they was in different spiritual spaces. And then that's when we can compare and contrast who's closer and larger on a percentage scale of doing things for Haël'Ho, doing things for God, being in relatable, which is a name for being in relatable, being in sync, that can only go in the beauty path. And once it going that way, for the most part, other people who's going in opposite directions is going to play out even if it's not a direction. Just like if it's not a voice or it's not a vision, it's going to be something out of sync, out of order, non-natural, disingenuous, right? And then for the most part, all you have to do is substantiate that quality for what it is and know that's not a route that you want to go, regardless of the nuances and the makeup of it, to make you feel like it caters to one of your biases on a large percentage scale. And a lot of times, that's when we bite an unholy fruit that may look good from a distance, obtain it, then got to be in that cliche term of be careful what you ask for. You know what I'm saying? And you could have seen these type of things from a mile away. But for the most part, sometimes spirits is not ahead of the curve. So they square and etch out too many things before even being or understanding the esoteric whole landmass and the whole island you're on. So, there's a lot of things that may be undiscovered. There's a lot of things that we cling on to that's already discovered. But when you know how to put things together in esoteric farm the right way, then you just create a good harvesting quality. And that good harvesting quality means that wherever you got is more where it came from. So you're able to give people that remorse, give people that care, give people that knowledge that you don't want to hold on to because you got so much fruit. And a person could take this and make something out of it that you may even develop a jealous energy like, damn, I could have did something with that. Guess what? You're not in the energy of competing, though. You're in the energy of there's more where it came from. And when this person in that position, they're not in no resistant energy based upon whatever funky stench of spirit that you may have expressed that had a little bit of percentage scale of ego behind it. A person may not want to give you the satisfaction of the day. All that is out the window. It might be a situation where they're on, you're not. Guess who's getting ready to be back on? You, because you always got a good face card. You see what I'm saying? Guess I gotta let it go. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you put that energy out and let it go. And don't be caring about expectation because it's accumulating. It's like a snowball effect or a domino effect that comes right back to you. So how did you program it? With relatable and synchronizing energy or energy that was resistant or negative? Because that's what's getting ready to come back. And it might not come in the way that you expect. Don't get lost in expectations. It could be a whole brand new person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation that make you not ever look back at whatever you was expecting through that specific person, place, or thing, or circumstance, or situation. And therefore, you are expanding yourself out of a spiritual cocoon and now you're more wider, and any previous experience that represents that smaller cocoon, you're able to teach others how to get out of it, and you're able to not jump back in it, and therefore you're spiritually evolving. You're becoming an adult. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Not this 18-year-old shit that y'all got going on down here and things of that nature, but you know, just the actual aspect of it, of understanding experiences is you emanating a fruit, then you go through the experience, you swallow the fruit, and then you always experience that in every level. You know what I'm saying? Breathe out, breathe in. You know what I'm saying? Or breathe in, breathe out. You know what I'm saying? Internal, external. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do that the right way, you feel better about what you're doing. You look better about what you're doing. You end up being the shape and the form of what your Haël'Ho wants us to do. So you be the representation mentally and physically of how to fight and carve out and cultivate the physical and the mental lands. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, everybody want to do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't got no haters at that point. People can only hate themselves or hate what they just got reminded they supposed to be like anytime they're around you. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you need to worry about. Being a representation for God. Don't worry about nothing else. It'll work itself out. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about all that. That ain't for you to worry about. If it was for you to worry about, it'd be in arm reach. It'd be in your hands already. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a situation that you could push the A button, push start, and the game would start playing. Other than that, it ain't for you to worry about. There's other things at play. There's other things that take course. You just have to know that's what's happening. So you need to act accordingly. The moment you try to jump gun, you want to be at point C, and you at point A, you forgot you still got to get to point B. And therefore, that's you fighting logic with logic, not against logic. Now you're formatting yourself into a way of complaining about stuff you ain't got no business complaining about. Frustrated about stuff you ain't got no business frustrated about. How you know you was even going to get to point C? You done already put your mind there. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even in that season. You ain't even in that space. So you need to worry about the season you in. Make that look good. The space you in. Cultivate that land mass at the moment and stuff like that. Then you might have that good harvesting quality. So when this point B, point C you want to be in, quote unquote, the season come around, you may have all the necessities and the qualities that you just harvest for you to have good sheltering when that time come around, so you can be spiritual and peace and have that good charismatic gift be developed, the things of that nature, and not be in scavenger mode. See what I'm saying? So it's all about looking at your mind like the gold too. That's what's being presented. And when you don't have that, that's what you're really frustrated about. And we utilize all these type of qualities out here. You know what I'm saying? We might see something we think somebody else got, really based on something else of the goal. We don't really care about the trait itself. Take a negative quality, try to replace it with something that we don't have, that we are attracted or entertained by this person in the first place, and then demonize that in order to be seen a certain way. That's a form of Shang Tsung. That's a form of drinking somebody else's water, but don't want the person water you just drunk from to be the representative of that's where you got the water from. And that piece of water make your water look better, but you just want it to be your water. You know what I'm saying? In some way, shape, or form. So we got to make sure we're not in these energies also, especially as men. Because that's like a man speaking in code in some type of way based upon small dick energy. There's a quality that you lack, but you have to make something else appear to be just as good or better, and make that appear like it's no good at all and throw it all away. But truly, a man shouldn't be sharing dick space with another man. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you teach about the ego. And for the most part, any female will be able to pick up that sense in other areas, you know what I'm saying, based upon your lack of amount of care percentage scale you may put on external things that other men may be involved in anyway. That goes just as simple as, yeah, you got a cold ass job, but your female may be still cheating with the bus driver or the mailman, because instead of fucking and being cool, you complain and bitch about your manager 24/7 and what's going on at work or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have this disdain for jumping into space that other spirits of men in, creating their thought forms and circumstances and stuff. Rather, you have to participate with it or not. And females know how to pick that up. And when there's a large percentage scale of stuff you adding from another energy that other men and another man may be had a larger percentage scale of it, believe me, your female will slide away and find the Muppet baby, the physical form of the spirit inside of that mind, making that energy of which you following anyway. You know what I'm saying? You better believe it. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Like fucking that you know. For sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Today's Move. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God's duties and my responsibilities. Rector Haël'Ho, that yellow hoop, Massasoit, Mama the toy.